So AI is like just bursting out of the scene here. Why is this suddenly so popular? A year ago, you'd say AI and people would just think back to the Terminator movie, and that was really the only thing that would come to mind. But now it's like a household name. Why now all of a sudden is it everywhere?
Yeah, so there's just been some extraordinary advances in the last couple of years that it's become so tangible to people, not just obviously in healthcare, like in all segments of society, when AI like really understands the semantics and syntax of language to a level that is it's like exciting and also a bit scary. But what's happened is there's these new types of AI models called transformers that are powering things. People are familiar now with ChatGPT. It's like very natural sounding language. The accuracy for the intention of what is requested of the AI is just mind blowing. So I mean, I've been following the AI field really for like 10 years now. When it sort of started to show like what natural language understanding is possible when you apply machine learning to it. But it really came to a head when these transformers came out, which is just humongous machine learning models trained on enormous amounts of data, and sort of like close to the level of the human brain, really.
It's pretty crazy. Like we used to think of the Turing test in terms of, whether an AI was sentient or not, and it seems like that standard metric came and went like forever ago. Whether or not, if you were talking to an AI through a text-based interface, could you tell? I think it was like 50% accuracy or something. I can't remember what the standard was, but could you tell if this was actually a computer or a human on the other end? And now it's the AI does communication better than us.
It's taking all of humanity's input onto the internet and just like distilling it. It's amazing technology.
And so tell me a little bit more about Mutuo. I've used the platform, I've been in there, I've done a few patient notes with it. I think it's super cool. I'm a huge proponent of like AI scribe tech in general. Like this is the coolest thing to happen to healthcare in many, many years. How did you even come up with the idea for the business? When did you guys get started?
Yeah, so I'm by my nature, I'm more of like academic. I'm really interested in research, evidence-based sort of analysis, etc. So I knew that digital health and AI were for sure going to transform my career as a doctor. Like I was just starting in medicine when deep learning came out, which was like the next evolution of machine learning that was starting to be really powerful. And for me, I'm a bit of a futurist, so I saw the writing on the walls. Like I gotta get my handle on all this. What's going on before it like happens to me? I'd lead that kind of transformation that happens. Um, so that's why I did the Master's of Health Informatics, which is not like a standard career trajectory for a physician. Like after residency, after all those years, you do more schooling. um, but I thought it was so important, and it was during that time that I got connected with an advisor of mine here in Toronto named Mohammed Mamdani, who was like sort of this like guru in AI applied to healthcare data here in Canada. And we did a bunch of research projects together, but he was like, if you can nail the AI scribe value proposition, there's huge market opportunity there, and we solve so much problem, especially with the burnout crisis that we as clinicians were facing. So at that time, just before the pandemic, that I started this research project with some colleagues at the University of Toronto and the Vector Institute, who were like AI computer scientists, and I sort of explained to them like with the dialogue data of a doctor-patient conversation, the corresponding electronic medical record, it should be possible to, from that dialogue data, predict what that medical note would be. And we proved that out in our initial research project. This was before Transformers came out. And so then once we proved that this would be pretty accurate, we thought, well, it's just a matter of more data to get the accuracy up. So we said, okay, let's take a shot at entrepreneurship. That's one way of getting more data, is just people signing up. So we did, obviously the pandemic hit, but privacy, security, legal, all that stuff required before launch. And then we enhanced the AI with the Transformers that did come out. And as of April 2023 is when we formally launched. And for me, I'd had no business experience. I had a lot to learn on the job in terms of how to start up all the financial side of the company, how to hire and get product market fit, all these key elements of a startup journey. But I'm a capable guy, just scrappy, learn what you need to, and figured it out.
And then what was really the catalyst that kicked it off? So you'd been interested and sort of dabbling your feet in the water for a couple of years even. And then about a year ago, so it sounds like it kind of coincided with when AI really like burst onto the internet with ChatGPT 3.5. Was that part of it, or was that just what brought AI to mainstream, dinner conversation and made you think like, okay, now's the right time to launch it? Or was that like part of the integral tech stack that you wound up using, or what was the impetus to get going a year ago?
Yeah. So, well, there were a few impetuses, but I think the main one was um, with the launch of OpenAI and GPT. It really like reset this playing field in terms of possible accuracy of a generated technology. We had pretty good accuracy before we swapped in large language models into our pipeline, but it was not nearly as close as to what it is now. Now that we have large language model under the hood. So originally we didn't have GPT. We used an open source one in Canada. There wasn't a private Azure instance of GPT at that time. Over time, we've started to include that in our tech stack. It's in a specific module of our pipeline. But yeah, I mean, every other week there's a new, more accurate large language model coming out. We keep having to experiment and learning like what's the next thing that's going to make it even more accurate.
It's evolving so rapidly. It really is like crazy. I'm Dr. Jordan Vollrath, and you've been watching Cherry Live, brought to you by Cherry Health. Please like and subscribe to see more clips like this, or check us out at www.cherry.health, Canada's medical network.